Now we come to the awards part of the evening, and there are three sections of these awards. There are the awards that are associated with role modelling, the media-related awards, and finally the Sponsorship of the Year award. But our first award is for the Sporting Role Model of the Year, and it is sponsored by the Gym Group. Now, this award recognises an elite athlete or team who's used their influence to raise the visibility and increase the impact of women's sport. More people value, participate in, watch and support women's sport because of them. The finalists are Nicola Adams, Hannah Cockcroft and Casey Stoney. And here to present the award is John Trahan from the Gym Group. Is he here? Hello. And you're going to... We said don't have envelopes because you couldn't hold an award and tear open an envelope. So
not
you've just got... Not at the same time. So would you like to announce who the winner is?
And the winner is Nicola Adams.
Now, Nicola... Nicola Adams, MBE, is the first female in history to become an Olympic and Commonwealth Games boxing champion, taking gold at both London 2012 and then again at the Commonwealth Games in 2014. The Nicola Adams effect has been credited with a 50% rise in the number of women participating in some form of boxing. Outside her sport, she was named the most influential LGBT person by The Independent in 2012. So once again, congratulations, Nicola. Got a few questions for you. So, Nicola, you are an amazing role model. What do you see as your role, as a role model?
To be honest, I just get in the ring and I enjoy playing sport. I enjoy doing boxing, but I think it's an honour to be an inspiring person and be able to influence girls to get into sport and take up sport. And I never dreamed that I'd be able to do that. I never dreamed that I'd be able to be somebody's hero. So to think that I'm stood here now and I've been voted to be a role model and an inspirer is absolutely amazing to me.
And have you got lots of young little boxers coming up and trying to punch the lights out of you?
Yeah, I have. There's quite a few at the moment. They're keeping me on my toes.
Right. Well, it's great to hear because that's the future. Thank you once again. Congratulations, Nicola. Now, our next award is for the Ambassador of Women's Sports, and it's sponsored by Matrix Fitness. The Ambassador of Women's Sport recognises a leading figure who's achieved real, significant and lasting change for women's sport. The person is a game-changing decision-maker and/or influencer who has improved the way in which women's sport works. The finalists are Rimla Akhtar, Shelley Alexander and Tanni Grey-Thompson. And here to present the award from Matrix Fitness UK is MD John Johnson. Would you like to say who the winner is?
And the winner is Tanni Grey-Thompson.
Now, Baroness Tanni Grey-Thompson is a former GB wheelchair racer who participated in 5 Paralympics. That's not her. That's not her. Well, this is your Stephen Ward, aren't you? Yes, you're Stephen Ward, who's the Executive Director of UK Active. He's picking up the award on Tanni's behalf, but I'll continue with just a few words about Tanni that says she's an inspiration, a role model for many. She speaks out about living with a disability and the importance of sport in her life. She's a passionate advocate for women's sport. She co-chairs the all-party group on women in sport and speaking in the House of Lords on issues around women in sport. So, Stephen, I don't know if you want to say a few words about her or not.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of working with her for a whole month now as chair of UK Active, and she asked me to be here today to say thank you from her and that everything she's stood for over the years and everything she's worked for goes on, and she looks forward to working with you going forward. I believe there is a
I think she
short
has
video.
sent us a message. She has sent us a message.
Thank you very much to the Women's Sports Trust for this award. I'm really sorry I can't be with you. But it's great to be thought of as being a game changer. I had loads of men and women who helped me, not just be an athlete, but transition out into life after sport. And that influence, I think, is massively important. Every single person in the room can change another woman's life to be physically active and to get involved. Some of that is about funding and support. Some of it's about media coverage. But start the conversation and see what you can do, because what we need is more women at all levels of sport changing other women's lives.
Thank you, Baroness Tanny Grey-Thompson. Thank you very much. Our next award is for Inspiring Initiative of the Year. The Inspiring Initiative Award goes to a project, campaign or enterprise that proves how irresistible women's sport can be. This initiative inspires others to value, engage in, watch and support women's sport. And the finalists are EY Women's Athletes Business Network, Le Tour Entière and the Wembley match, England versus Germany. And here to present the award is the WST patron Maggie Alfonsi.
And the winner is Wembley match, England versus Germany.
In November 2014, England women played their first ever match at the new Wembley Stadium in front of a record crowd of more than 45,000 people, one of whom was me. Bringing England women to Wembley reflects the huge growth of the women's game in England in recent years and builds on the success of the FA's Game Changer plan for women's football. It served as great preparation for Mark Sampson's team, who are on the road to the FIFA World Cup in Canada this summer. Now, Katie Brazier, we often hear there isn't an audience for women's sport. How would you like to answer that?
I think we proved that there's definitely an audience for women's sport, and if it hadn't been for London Transport, we would have had even more people there, I'm absolutely sure.
And pouring rain.
Yes.
It was a filthy day, wasn't it?
It was miserable. But most importantly, I think, for the women's game, it proved there was an audience, and it also means now that all those little girls running around the playground all have a dream being able to play in their own FA Women's Cup final at Wembley, because that will happen this year as well.
Yeah. And can you just give us a little preview on what you think our chances are in the World Cup?
Ooh. Well, as Mark said on Monday when he announced the squad, they're going to play each game as it's a final. We hope that they'll get out of the group stages, because that's what the guys didn't do, so we'll be one step ahead. And who knows? They're a fantastic squad. They really believe in themselves, and we believe in them too, and I'm sure they'll do us all proud.
Thank you very much, Katie. Now, our next award is the Inspiring Participation Award, and this is sponsored by Inclusion at Lloyd's. The Inspiring Participation Award recognises a project, campaign or enterprise that inspires women and girls to get physically involved in sport themselves. More people actively participate in sport because of this compelling initiative. The finalists are Fat Girl's Guide to Running, Girl Guiding, Project 500 and This Girl Can. Now, here to present the award on behalf of Inclusion at Lloyd's is Chief Operating Officer for the Financial Institutions Group within Wallace Group, Sally Bramall. I'd like to announce the winner.
And the winner is This Girl Can.
Now, Sport England developed the This Girl Can campaign to inspire women to overcome the fear of judgment and get active. This Girl Can has spread throughout the world with more than 25 million views online and thousands of tweets and shares on social media. But most importantly, women everywhere have been inspired to become girls who can. This is Jenny Price, who's Chief Executive of Sport England. Now, why does it matter that women and girls participate in sport?
Because it makes a huge difference to their lives. And there are lots of women and girls out there who think now that sport isn't for them, that it's a place where the boys go. And we really, really wanted to prove that wasn't the case. And the agency actually who won the pitch for us won it not with the pictures and the advert, they won it with a message. And the message was that really women come in all shapes and sizes, and it doesn't matter if you're rubbish or if you're an expert. And that rubbish word is really important, because actually most of us are, notwithstanding the brilliant athletes in this room. The main thing is you're a woman and you're doing something. And that's why it matters.
Because it was interesting that you used ordinary women for the campaign. You didn't use elite athletes. You used women who wobbled.
We did.
And that was presumably part of the whole sort of synthesis of the campaign.
It was, and I think the people who connected with women out there were the women who wobbled, because most of us do. When we move, things move with us. And actually the heroes of this campaign are not us. They are the women who allowed us to take pictures of their cellulite and put it on the most enormous posters across the country. And they're the real heroes of this campaign, because they're the people that everybody connected with.
Jenny Price, congratulations. Now, our final award in this section is the only one that does not go to a public vote. This is the award for Outstanding Contribution to Women's Sport. Each year, the Women's Sports Trust trustees and Be a Game Changer expert panel identify someone who's made an outstanding contribution that is above and beyond, a person who's truly shaped the landscape of women's sport. This award also enables WST to thank someone who's gone out of their way to help us achieve our aims. Here to present the award for Outstanding Contribution to Women's Sport is one of the greatest names in the history of British track and field, one of British sport's greatest ambassadors, a woman who also brought together the sectarian divide in Ireland in 1972 when she won Olympic pentathlon gold medal in Munich. Please welcome Dame Mary Peters. You've got a microphone, haven't you?
Thank you very much for your warm welcome. I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm passionate about women in sport and their sponsors. This woman is a legend in sports journalism who has worked across radio, television and the written press. She started as a trainee journalist at the Hull Daily Mail in 1979, and her career has spanned 40 years. I first met this lady during her spell with the Sunday Times, when I was patron of the Sunday Times Sportswoman of the Year Awards. She brought Baroness Trumpington, who was a character, to present the awards. She brought Irina Shawinska from Poland, who was the greatest athlete that Poland ever produced. And she brought Nelly Kim, the Russian gymnast. This person has worked tirelessly, consistently, and often in the face of disinterest or even outright opposition to promote media coverage of women's sport. Her writing is sharp, beautifully put together, and often very, very funny. And it's always underpinned by a deep knowledge and love of sport. She worked for the Daily Mail, she's worked for the New York Daily News, the San Francisco Chronicle, the Australian, and for the last 20 years has worked for the Daily Telegraph. This journalist has made an outstanding contribution to raising the profile of female sporting achievements and to the level the financial and media playing ground between men and women's sport. She has also been one of the earliest and most vigorous allies of the Women's Sport Trust. This award goes for outstanding contribution to Sue Mott. We'll have a photograph first.
I don't have any questions for you. Just
I can't believe that Mary has just told you how old I am. And to receive this from a ledge is absolutely ridiculous. Can I just say that all the credit for this award goes right back out to the people in this room. It goes out to the sportswomen, without whose amazing stories, comedies, tragedies, traumas, and massive success as they are, we couldn't have a thing to write about. It goes out to my colleagues in the sports media, people like BT Sport and The Independent on Sunday and the BBC, who have really picked up this women's sport ball and run with it. And Barbara, it may be like W1A at your place, that spoof drama, but it's brilliant that you're covering the Women's World Cup in its entirety this year. I think you'll get great viewing numbers and it will be quite a game changer in itself. Can I also say, Women's Sports Trust, you've only existed for 2.5 years, but look what you have done already. Absolutely awesome. Claire Balding, still working on her speech. Force, naturally, force of nature, where would we be without you? And finally, to a beleaguered minority, possibly in this room, men, this revolution would be half-formed without you. The alliance with men is absolutely vital. You know what we know. This isn't a gender war, it's a war on want. We want to see more women in the media, we want to see more money cascading down to women's sport, but above all, we want to see young girls and young boys knowing that sport is for them. It's perfectly normal to love sport, play sport, and be part of sport, as we all have been. So on that basis, chaps, thanks so much, and thank you for this.
That was all lovely, wasn't it? I enjoyed that. No, we now move to the next section of the awards, which recognise the part that media plays in the promotion of women's sport. Our first award in this category is the Imagery of the Year, sponsored by KPMG. This award is for photography, film, or a visual campaign that brilliantly represents women and or girls in sport. The images showcase what women and girls are capable of and help to challenge stereotypes. The finalists are Red Bull Fox Hunt, Skate Girls of Kabul, and Wild Women. But rather than me talk about them, let's have a look at their work.
This year the Red Bull Fox Hunt is being held up in Edinburgh. It's the first female-specific fox hunt. Normally in a fox hunt, the hounds hunt the fox, but this was the other way around and I became the hunter.
Finished the race and it was awesome, way above my expectations. It was so much fun.
It's great that the women's scene is getting so much bigger. Events like this really help. Really friendly, just an amazing atmosphere.
Loads of women, all like-minded, just having an absolute buzz at the time.
Congratulations.
know if I am a wild woman. Well, my parents would probably disagree.
Do I consider myself a wild woman? I think that's a really relative concept, because when you live a wild life on a daily basis and it's your life, you don't have the perspective of it being wild. It's what you do, and that's what you do.
I could be considered a wild woman because I'm in the wild, doing things that people don't expect. And when I meet somebody on the street and I'm dressed as a normal person, a lot of them can't believe it because I don't look like a wild woman. And it's kind of cool, it's like my alter ego.
I was just asking my boyfriend last night what qualifies me as a wild woman, because I wasn't raised by wolves and I don't have hairy armpits. I suppose if the meaning of wild is that I don't fit into societal norm and I don't live by another person's rules, then I'm pretty wild. And I like to hunt wild mushrooms. It's kind of wild.
Here to present the award for Imagery of the Year is KPMG partner Claire Warnes.
Amazing imagery, but the winner of the Imagery Award is Skate Girls of Kabul.
Now, after reading a small article in 2012 about young girls skateboarding in Afghanistan, Jessica Fulford-Dobson approached Skateistan, a non-profit NGO that uses skateboarding as a tool to empower girls and get them into education. Jessica's vision was to create a set of photographs featuring these inspiring young girls, and it worked. She went on to be awarded second place in the prestigious National Portrait Gallery's Taylor Wessing Photographic Portrait Awards. Well, what do you think the effect is of having strong sporting images of girls like the ones in your project?
Wow, I do have to say, I know everyone always says this, but I'm an artist, and to be up here with all you sporting people down there and up against Red Bull, and I really did not expect this at all. But I'll try and keep my composure. But what has been quite extraordinary, and I think I do feel quite proud of the fact that it's an example of just if you see something that grabs your attention or desire, and I read this article and I just thought, from a part of the world that we don't hear anything positive, I thought it was a sort of 3-inch column about girls skateboarding in Afghanistan. I was like, this is amazing, but it's tiny and the world needs to see it. And I know the skate girls at the moment are all fast asleep because it's just gone midnight, I think, in Kabul. But I know they're going to be really, really thrilled when they hear that they've got this award, because they're the ones who got it. They just kindly let me go there to go into their world. But just getting quickly on to numbers, and I like to feel that this, for me, this is a passion project that's just taken off. But I got this award that from the Portrait Gallery, and 60,000 people, I gather, went to see that, which again was phenomenal, and it started getting the ball rolling. But then the Prime Minister then heard about this award at the end of last year when the President of Afghanistan was coming over. And I couldn't believe it when they said, look, we'd like to see these to be able to show the President and make them not forget what's happening over there. But it's just how it's just gone from strength to strength, and I suddenly see the power of imagery. And what I'm trying to do is just tell a great story, but I realize that strong images, because I can see it's very difficult to get images out to the world, particularly of women in sport. And these girls, I feel, because they've got the imagery of sort of girls and skateboards, it seems to represent, I think, all sport everywhere. We're all skate girls. Everyone who's a sport person is a skate girl, because they represent the freedom and everything that we all want. But just so you know, that after this all happened at the end of last year, then I've just finished an exhibition at the Saatchi Gallery, and it has been phenomenal, the press from there, where I've had sort of double-page spread of these girls in The Guardian. And on my birthday, there was a call from Italy to say, do you realise you're on the front cover of the main daily newspaper with a double-page spread inside? So, talking about figures, I was then told by someone who worked it out, but it's been seen by over 1 billion people. And I couldn't have imagined that. And I'm mostly going on a bit too long, but I just thought that I'd quickly finish this, because I do feel very proud that this is something that hopefully will carry on
being a bit like the Olympic torch now, because Germany have called to say they want the exhibition in Germany, Paris want it, New York want it, and I see that they will hopefully represent sporting people everywhere and be like a sort of mini, what would you call it, Olympic torch, so they spread the light of sports and girls. But anyway, thank you so much, and this is just incredible, and I know they will all be thrilled, and yeah, I'm really, yeah, can't quite imagine.
What an amazing project. Really inspiring project. Congratulations, Jessica. Now we have the Media Organisation of the Year, sponsored by the 30% Club. The award for Media Organisation of the Year goes to the organisation that has had the greatest impact on increasing the quality, range and visibility of media coverage relating to women's sport. They've set an example in establishing women's sport as a valuable media proposition. All the big guns are there. The finalists are the BBC, BT Sport, scrumqueens.com and Sky Sport. And here to present the award for Media Organisation of the Year is Niamh Corbett from the 30% Club.
And the winner is BBC Sport.
You have your picture taken, yes, go with them. The BBC devoted 32% of its live TV output to showcasing female athletes in 2014, with an audience of 5 million watching Lizzie Yarnold win gold at the Winter Olympics and 9 million watching England women's rugby squad take the team award at Sports Personality of the Year. Coverage is driven by the BBC's Director of Sport, Barbara Slater. Now, Barbara, what makes a great sporting spectacle from a media perspective?
I mean, brilliant drama, brilliant performances, tension, jeopardy, I mean, so many things that we just love about sport.
And how do you think we're going to see more women's sport coverage in the future?
I mean, it is fantastic to be part of this huge sense of momentum. And before I answer your question, I just think there are so many people in this room that are now seeing, I hope, some of the rewards of all their tireless energy and effort into driving forward the women's sport agenda. Fantastic, because it's brilliant to be a part of it. It's brilliant to in a way take from all of the major success of our athletes, of our administrators, of those that have put so much energy into this. I just think the media is catching up. So I think it's fantastic. I think it's about creating a virtuous cycle. If we've got the brilliant athletes, look at what UK sport have done, what they delivered in 2012, the athletes, the success, the sense of momentum that generated. It builds, that inspires the next generation. More success. That's what we've all want to be part of, and I'm pleased the BBC is playing a part of that. Of course, there's so much more the media can do, but I think, as you say, 32% last summer devoted to women's sport. We're really proud of that, and I just think it's a momentum that's going to build.
Barbara Slater, thank you very much. Now, the final award in the media category is Journalist of the Year, sponsored by Promote PR. Journalist of the Year is awarded to the individual journalist responsible for the most compelling coverage of women's sport throughout the year. The quality of their journalism has helped to raise the profile and credibility of women's sport in the UK. The finalists are Jessica Creighton, Anna Kessel and Jackie Oatley. And here to present the award for Journalist of the Year, Promote PR MD and founder Sue Anstis.
Thank you. And the winner is Jessica Creighton.
Now, Jessica is a freelance broadcaster and writer whose work raises awareness of sports women's issues and celebrates their accomplishments. Her single-handed coverage of football's Cyprus Cup reached a combined audience of hundreds of thousands, while her exclusive interview with England footballer Farrah Williams focused worldwide attention on the players' battle with homelessness. She also unearthed the story of world boxing's governing body, suggesting that women boxers should wear skirts when fighting. Having played football all her life, Jessica has experienced firsthand the inequalities that exist in sport, and she uses her voice to change that. So, Jessica, what are the stories that you want to write about in women's sport?
I think for me it's the stories that don't get much coverage. It's the stories of amazing women like that are in this room that are, as we heard, working full-time, have families, but are still able to achieve amazing things at Olympic Games, at World Championships. It's those stories that the national press and broadcasters don't necessarily pick up because it doesn't really make the headlines. It's not really seen as big news. But what some of these women in this room have achieved, considering they don't get the funding, the coverage, the sponsorship, is absolutely incredible. So I just tell the story. I'm not the one doing the hard work. It's the women in this room that do the hard work. I just cover it.
Yeah, but you're hunting out the story and doing it very, very well.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate Jessica Creighton. And now to our final award of the night for Sponsorship of the Year, sponsored by ActiveBod. The award acknowledges a partnership between sport and business that has resulted in the most exciting new sponsorship in women's sport. It recognises the vital role of sponsorship in raising the profile and increasing the impact of women's sport. And the finalists, and all these must be congratulated, is Investec and England Hockey, Kia Motors and ECB Women's Cricket, and Newton Investment Management and Women's Boat Race. Here to present the award is ActiveBod founder and CEO Lara Morgan.
Fantastic evening. I must say it's an incredibly moving event, this, because life is about competition. I'm only a business person, but I wouldn't be here without the benefit of sport, which is why we do what we do. So the winner tonight, as a great sponsor example of something outstanding, is Newton Investment Management and the Women's Boat Race.
Sporting history was made on Saturday, April the 11th, 2015, when the Newton Women's Boat Race between the boat clubs of the universities of Oxford and Cambridge was rowed on the same day and over the same course as their male counterparts for the first time. This sponsorship is seen as a game changer for women's sport. It brings parity to a traditional Great British sporting event. And on stage we have Helena Morrissey from Newton Investment Management and Anastasia Chitty, the winning boat race captain from Oxford. Congratulations. Now, Helena, we've met before and you know I'm a huge fan of yours, but what, from a business leader's perspective, what would you say were the advantages of sponsoring the boat race?
Well, we already heard the gentleman from EY saying, you know, there's a buy low, but it wasn't just about that. It was kind of about trying to do something where we could change an event, where we could shape an event, where, I mean, I was shocked to discover there was no money in the women's boat race, and as a child, always watched the men's race, as I shall now call it, every year, and realised that it was a very well-funded, very well-sponsored event, and, you know, it wasn't so much a second-class citizen as the underclass. And so began a journey which was very exciting to see it culminate in a very short space of time, really. I mean, it took 186 years to get to that moment in April, but actually the past 3 or 4 years were what made the difference. And I suppose that's my message of hope and encouragement to, you know, other companies thinking of doing such a sponsorship, that actually you can change something quite dramatically once you get involved.
Yeah, so can you send that message out round to other companies?
Yes, I mean, I think that there is a lot of, you know, we've heard the talk about the momentum this evening.
This is the zeitgeist. Businesses want to have diverse workforces. This appeals to your employees. It certainly resonates with the public. We had such fantastic, overwhelming positivity about it. And thank you to Barbara. The BBC were fantastic in terms of coverage. Thank you to Claire, who obviously gave out the Grand National. That was a very easy decision, I'm sure. But the whole thing just grew and grew, and I would just say there's many other opportunities to sponsor women's sports.
And Anastasia, what difference did it make to you as a rower, knowing that you had that kind of sponsorship and coverage?
Yeah, it's made an absolutely enormous difference. I arrived at the start of the 3-year cycle that got us ready for April the 11th, and the change in our programme in just 2.5 years is absolutely phenomenal. Having the professional coaches, physiotherapists, transport, training camps, it just makes such a big difference, and we've gone from being a good university to an international level crew in 2.5 years. And so I don't want to say it's easy, but actually in 2.5 years they've completely transformed the event into something world class.
Well, thank you both very much. It just shows what a massive difference sponsorship makes. It is everything.